This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts, Alex and Rayven Greer.
Hi, I'm Alex. My pronouns are they, them. And today I am smoking on Harley Quinn by Farm RX.
Hi, my name is Rayven. I am smoking Agri-Kind Sour Plum Vape Cartridge. And welcome back to...
Smoking Out the Closet.
I'm really fucking high right now. I love this thing. It helps me with, anxiety from work. So I don't have the panic attacks when we're playing football weekend. And if you hear cats in the background, we just got our new son the other day.
That we mentioned in our last podcast.
And they like to wrestle.
Wrestling cats. Yeah, they get really into it. They get a little too into it and then hurting each other, so.
I will try my best to edit them out of the background.
But yeah, no, this strain you're talking about, how it helps you calm down when you're working before weekends at work.
Yeah, it really helps, but then, if I do, 5 more puffs compared to what it was that I do at work, or before work, or whatever, I get really high.
This Harley Quinn is the one that I remember my pharmacist was like, yo, be careful with it. Because I use my medical marijuana for my anxiety, and if I use something that's a little too strong on the THC side and too energizing, gives me an anxiety attack. He's like, just be careful. This is like a hybrid with a little bit higher THC, but it's really nice. It's not like a crazy high, I don't think. So it's just more of a, hey, I'm energized. I'm ready to go. We could either watch TV or we could go, clean the house or do something. Definitely one of my strains I think this is what I used when I was cleaning one day when I was smoking and cleaning. And then I sat down and, everything hit me all at once.
So we got a couple of news updates. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about other stuff before we do the news stuff, or if you wanted to do the news stuff first.
Let's do the news stuff first.
Okay, do you want me to go first, or you go first?
You go first.
Okay, so, Marijuana Moment has an article about called Pennsylvania Lawmakers Unveil Marijuana Legalization Bill with Focus on Social Equality. Equity. It was posted on the 28th of September. The bill was introduced by Representatives Jake Wheatley and Dan Frankel. It's House Bill 2050. It's proposed for adult use of cannabis of 21 or older to purchase and possess up to an ounce of marijuana, as well as home cultivation of 3 mature plants and 3 immature plants.
Nice.
What does that mean? Mature and immature plants.
So basically, mature plants are budding. They're the ones that are either, if they're male plants, they're producing the seeds to pollinate the female plants so they can make the bud that we smoke. Or it's those female plants that already have been pollinated, they're budding, they're producing, product, basically. Those are mature plants. Immature plants are up to that point before they start producing flower or producing seed pods. So those are going to be your babies, essentially.
Okay. Also, I just realized I had the microphone oriented weird, or incorrectly from what we normally do, so I do apologize if you're a little quieter on this recording. For the first, 3 minutes.
It'll be alright. At least we caught it early.
So the social side is marijuana convictions will be expunged automatically. I guess they have it doesn't really go super detail on how that's going to look in the article, or neither does one of the representatives who actually introduced the bill. He doesn't really go into how it's going to be done. He just says it's going to be expunged automatically. So I'm wondering if they're just pulling up files through a computer and having a bot do a search.
Like a keyword search.
Yeah.
They'll flag and open any ones for people who are in jail for, they'll probably flag possession, cultivation, distribution, stuff like that.
But those who are currently in jail in the state of Pennsylvania, when this bill passes, fingers crossed, let's put it out there into the universe.
We're speaking it into existence, manifestation.
What's he doing?
Sniffing your.
Oh, okay. Our new cat is a 7-month-old kitten, and he's exploring his home.
He is very, what's the word I'm looking here for? Curious. He's a very curious cat, for lack of a better word, because I can't remember what I was going to say.
But yeah, those who are in jail will be released too, going back to the article.
Yeah.
So that's really good. That is really good. Wheatley is quoted, I think it was Wheatley or another representative basically being like, we need to follow the examples of our neighbors, New York and New Jersey, who have decriminalized and or legalized marijuana.
Yeah.
Now, this part is what I was asking you about earlier of what is an excise tax.
Yeah.
So there will be a 13% excise tax that will be proposed on cannabis sales. 15%, so they broke it down into what the percentages of the taxes are going where. 15 is going to community reinvestment, which I really think is really good. So probably a lot of it's going to the inner cities.
Yeah.
To kind of like improve education, improve housing systems, probably trying to get people off the street, like homeless people off the street. Another 15 is going to substance misuse programs, which I think is really good to help with like the opioid epidemic that was created by Big Pharma.
Yeah.
And here in Pennsylvania, I can't remember, is it more of a meth issue or is it more of a heroin issue? Because I hear both from people.
It is both. I don't know which is more prevalent or like bad, but it definitely is a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Both of them are a big issue in Pennsylvania. I feel like it's more of depending on where you're at, which is more prevalent. If you were to take them both side by side of the population of misuse for both, I'm not sure which is going to be bigger.
Okay. But this is going into like some of the programs to help people get off that stuff. Hopefully, marijuana or cannabis use can help them.
Yeah.
And then the rest, the other 70% is going to general states funds. So basically, the roads, like basically a lot of the general stuff that the state taxes for.
Yeah, so that way we don't have another bus followed by a pothole.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we will be smoking this, or I guess vaping
this whole episode.
So if you hear it, I highly doubt you will, but if you hear it, that's why.
I accidentally was sitting here dry firing mine, because I have a really nice battery. I'm going to give you a little bit of history behind this. We got our stuff from the dispensary, and I have a really nice standard Farms battery, but I must have either the button got stuck or I clicked it too many times to set the preheat on, so it preheated itself and just sitting here dry firing, and it's kind of hot now, so I'm like, way over.
Also, what's really funny is I have a Moxie battery pack, so I actually keep with the cartridge on in the Moxie case that I got, and I just feel like that episode of SpongeBob where he pulls out his jellyfishing nets, because every time I open it, it's got these little 2 click flap things, and I open it up going, "Hold reliable."
Every time you do that, it makes me laugh.
Every time. So that was the first news thing I saw. Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, it kind of fits into what I was going to talk about, because this is talking about history and, like, not history, why I say history. It's talking about research going into the marijuana industry, like, on a larger scale. So you were talking, like, the state level. This article that I found is talking about, like, the national level. And it was also on Marijuana Moment, is where I got my article from.
Shout out to Marijuana Moment.
Hey guys. So basically, it has like points of the article, and the headline is Biden administration pushes to ease cannabis and psychedelic research. This was published on the 6th of September, so a little bit older, but I still thought it was really prevalent. We should talk about it. So, the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy is proposing basically a bill to make it easier to study marijuana, because since it is still legal on the national level, it's a little bit harder to study because it's still it's treated like a Schedule 1 drug.
It is a Schedule 1
It is a Schedule 1 drug, so it's treated like all those other ones in the bracket. So it makes it really hard to do research, which is why we don't have a lot of research into like things that it helps with. We just have like stories from people or doing surveys.
Now for I'm not sure what all Schedule 1 drugs are. I know cocaine is one of them.
Yeah, cocaine's up there. I think methamphetamines are up on Schedule 1.
I don't think they are.
Or not?
Well, because Adderall is a methamphetamine-based medication, and so is, what the heck do we take when our nose are too stuffy? Sudafed.
Pseudoephedrine. Because that is, also
A methamphetamine.
I'm actually doing some research here real quick.
I'll just spend.
No, but the thing I think is stupid is because you have all of these other things in this list. I've actually found the list. There's so many things in this list, and I don't know about you, but marijuana sticks out like a sore thumb. Listen to this, alright?
Mm-hmm.
Drugs or substances listed in DEA Schedule 1 may include heroin, LSD, marijuana, peyote, I think is like, it's called, mescaline. Peyote is in parentheses, I don't know what that is. MDMA, GHB, which is gamma hydroxybute acid, ecstasy, psilocybin, that is the chemical in the quote-unquote magic mushrooms, synthetic marijuana and analogs, it's a spiced K2.
Wait, did you say psilocybin?
Yeah, psilocybin.
Yeah.
Psilocybin.
Like pterodactyl, peace silent.
I can't hear him go to the bathroom. Oh my god, that was bad. Synthetic marijuana, so K-spice, K2, stuff like that. Methaquarone, cat, and bath salts.
Wait, K2?
K2, yeah, that is synthetic marijuana.
Synthetic marijuana?
You've never heard of synthetic marijuana?
No.
Okay, so
I'm very sheltered with this stuff.
When I was in college, there was a big, there was a circle of basically frat boys that I knew of that dealt weed. Some of his friends knew people who dealt with K2. And I've been offered it on a couple occasions. I've never taken it. That shit's scary. But let me tell you basically what it is first, and I'll tell you what it does. It's basically this mixture of chemicals. Could be anything from, gasoline to windshield washer fluid to Windex, whatever, like Clorox, whatever they can get to get those chemical compounds out that get you high. They would take it, concentrate it, put it in a liquid form, take some sort of plant matter like leaves or whatever, and spray it on. And you smoke it like you'd smoke marijuana. Scary shit, because number one, you never know what's in it. Number two, or what concentrate it's in. And that shit is the stuff that makes people, blow holes through their ceiling because they think they saw, a spider or something. So they decide to shoot it with a gun, whenever they're high on this shit. It's up there with, the riskiness of doing cocaine. The first time you do it, you can kill yourself. Not because it's gonna make your heart explode, because of the shit it's gonna make you do. I'm gonna jump off of the third floor of my, apartment complex because I think I can fly level shit.
Shit. Okay, yeah.
It's bad.
Never heard of that.
I've had it offered to me on 2 occasions. The first time I didn't know what it was. I was just told, hey, this is like weed, but it's legal. I was like, that sounds sketchy. That doesn't sound real. I'm not going to do it. Thank you, though.
Why does it sound like something corporations, I can see, big corporations doing?
Yeah. And the second time, I think that's actually what I was smoking. Because I told you about the story when I was in college. I got so high I saw sounds. Mm-hmm. That usually doesn't happen with marijuana. So that's what I think now that it was, is because I think it was K2.
Or at least laced with it.
Yeah, or mixed with it, or something was going on, because it smells funny, it stinks, it's horrible. It's like you're burning plastic. It doesn't, and plastic's mixed with weed. You took weed, put it in a water bottle, and caught it on fire.
Ew.
It stinks. It's a really weird feeling. And like I said, I saw sounds. I was having hallucinations. I felt like my legs were going to knock out from under me because I just was basically a form of something. I wasn't a human. I didn't have a weight.
I felt like is this the time you went to the hospital?
No, that was just straight weed. Okay. This is the time I went to my first frat party. And I think it was my only frat party because the other party was a sorority party. But my first and last frat party in college. This guy who later became my dealer, he would bring me bud, it was the actual full bud, nothing just trimmed off the plant kind of a situation. But he's the one who was like, hey, you guys want to smoke? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Why not? And it stinks. And I remember that dreading feeling. We lived on, like, the 3rd floor, and we went outside to smoke. And walking up those stairs, like, my legs felt like they would just collapse, and I'd have to be carried.
Jeez.
It was weird and rough, and it's kind of scary thinking back, because number one, I was under the influence, and it was weed. I was at a frat party. I watched this guy roll a joint. Fun fact, this is the guy I learned how to roll my joints from. I watched him once at a frat party and remembered how to do it. But I watched him roll it. Because, like, he was like, if you want to watch me roll, it's fine, whatever. Like, just to show you can trust me. But it was I didn't watch him grind it. And that was the problem, because it was pre-ground, whatever. Which makes me think that it was K2, because when you buy it, it's pre-ground. Because it's just plant material. It's not actually weed. Like I said, it's chemicals sprayed onto plants that are maybe smokable. Who knows?
Yeah.
But then later that semester, I was sitting watching the production of Avenue Q, and the kids behind me were talking about, hey, let's go. My dealer is coming and grab some spice. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And then I figured out spice was another name for K2, and I was like, dude, it's like $20 on the street here. Just go get pot. It's safer.
So, one more question before we get back to your article, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting your article.
No, it's okay. This is a learning moment.
So I've been seeing a lot of Delta 8 advertisements in, like, gas stations and, like, vape shops and stuff like that. What is Delta 8?
Yeah, this is my best guess. I'm by no means an expert.
Should we look it up and explain what it is next time?
We'll look it up and explain what it is next time. We'll make some notes. But this is my best guess as to what it actually is. Basically, the only thing in marijuana that is illegal is THC. Now, that's THCA. Delta 8 is just a different form of that THC protein that it might not make you as high. It might not fit in the cannabinoid receptors quite as easily as THCA does. So you're not going to get as high, if high at all. And that variant of the THC compound is not what the state checks for whenever you can sell it. Because you're allowed to sell what's called full spectrum CBD edibles, which that full spectrum has THCA in it. But it's at a low enough level that the state will let it slide. I think it's like 0.16%.
Well, I don't think that's a state thing. I think that's a leftover from Trump when he made the some farm bill which allowed farmers to grow hemp, and a lot of the full spectrum CBD stuff is hemp derived.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it was this way before he was president too, because I went to South Carolina, which their CBD consumption age is 18. Mm-hmm. So I was able to go and buy CBD products while I was on vacation.
Well, no, that he just made that stuff federal, like across the board. Yeah,
federal across the board. But it was like that back then too.
Okay.
But those full spectrums have THCA in small enough amounts that nobody's gonna bat an eyelash at it. These Delta 8s can get you high in large quantities because it's still THC. And there was an article I had come across of like this company selling THC products in all 50 states, this, that, and the next, and you were like, it's Delta 8. That's what they're selling, and it's hemp derived. So I think that's what the difference is there, is that it's just a different kind of THC that's not... It's one of those things of, if you don't tell me not to do it, I'm going to do it. Like, if you don't explicitly tell me not to. So that's what they're doing with this Delta 8. They didn't explicitly say Delta 8 THC is illegal for sale. They just said THCA.
So I'm wondering, because there's also Delta 9 THC. And then I know when you make edibles, a friend explained this to me when I had my first edible, the science behind it. Basically, the reason you decarbonize it is to get the psychoactive component, which is Delta 13 THC. So are these all just the same thing, just a different protein structure or something?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what it sounds like. But like I said, we can look stuff up. We can come back to it next episode.
Yeah, because I've been very curious about it, like, since it's been popping up the last few months everywhere.
Yeah, and there was the smoke shop we went to actually get your piece in Altoona. the guy was talking to me, and he was like, hey, it has THC in it, you want to get it? Like, he had actual flour, he had what looked like live resin, he had shatter, he had carts, all with this THC, like this Delta 9 THC in it. It was Delta 8. Was it Delta 8 we were talking about? Yeah, it was 8. The Delta 8 in it, and I was like, how is that legal? I even said you when we left, and I was like, I don't think that's legal. And you're like, I think it is, because I've seen it. I've seen kind of some stuff about it. But yeah, we definitely can keep you guys updated. We need to educate ourselves a little bit on this too, because I don't understand.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
It is very
confusing. Yeah, back to your article.
Back to my article. It's okay. But Biden is going to push to ease these restrictions on cannabis use for the state research, basically. Okay. The Washington State Attorney General's office joined lawyers for cancer patients pursuing Drug Enforcement Administrations for access to the psilocybin, which is the stuff in the magic mushrooms, for end-of-life treatment in oral augments before the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Ninth Circuit. Yeah. A lot of this is used for, it's therapy grade. Yeah. It's used for end-of-life stuff. They want that in that hospice care, knowing somebody who was in hospice, I got to see from the inside how it works. They try to make people as comfortable as they possibly can. Sometimes it's not legal. And I don't remember her name, and I wouldn't give names in the first place even if I did, but this beautiful, lovely hospice care worker nurse gave my aunt her end-of-life kit. Basically what it contains in it is it contains a lot of painkillers. Like, we're talking like liquid morphine in syringes. They give you at least six to eight.
Damn.
And I remember it was in this little wooden box they gave it to her, and she was like, "No, this," and it was this little clear capsule with just a clear liquid in it. She never said what it was. She never said what it did. She said, "If it gets too much, I'm putting this in the refrigerator. If this gets too much, just bite down on it, and it's all gonna be over." You know for a fact that's illegal in the state of Pennsylvania because of our medical assisted suicide bills.
Oh, I don't know that.
Okay.
I'm a transplant.
There are bills for state to state that varies for end of life care. Whether it's called physician assisted suicide. If they would be allowed to help you kill yourself if you were still able and you were in too much pain and you didn't think you were going to make it. Like if you had a terminal illness. Mm-hmm. They would be allowed to give you life-ending medications without any repercussions on the nurses.
Well, that's stupid. I think personally, if you're gonna go, and you know you're gonna go,
you should be able to decide
on your terms.
Exactly. But I remember her, and I remember the face, and she just looked at me like I was there when she was giving this to my aunt, and she just looked at me like, I know you, like you know that I know that you know, kind of a look. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit. I hope that, you know, nobody ever had to use that, but I'm so glad it was there.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is these people can lose their jobs, and they're just trying to help their patients, and I can't imagine what it's like to be one of those hospice nurses.
Oh, that must be hard.
Because some of these people, they have a life diagnosis of maybe 6 months, they live for a year, and then they look like they're getting better, and you're like, you don't need me anymore, and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, going back to my article. These psychoactive compounds are used for these end-of-life treatments, just to kind of make things a little bit easier. Michigan senators filed a bill that would legalize possession, cultivation, and delivery of plant and fungi-derived psychedelics like psilocybin, mescaline, ibogaine, and DMT.
What's DMT?
It's another psychoactive drug that's derived from fungus.
Because I
can't remember how you take it.
MDMA is Molly.
MDMA is Molly, yeah. What is DMT?
Sorry, I keep interrupting your article reading, but I'm so new to this world, and I'm like, what's that? What's this?
And it's good that you have these questions. It's called N-dimethyltryptamine. It occurs in many plants and animals which both have derived structural analog of tryptamine. It's used as a recreational psychedelic drug, prepared by various cultures for ritual purposes, and as a euthanagen.
Okay.
So basically, it's a naturally occurring compound that can get you high. Yeah, it's just another psychoactive. Yeah, okay. So hallucinogenic psychedelic drug. I'm trying to figure out where it comes from. But again, we can talk about this in another episode. But basically, what you need to know is it's a psychedelic that has also been used by people for end-of-life sort of situations. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife is launching a grant program to help fund small marijuana cultivators with environmental cleanup and restoration efforts, which is the part of the article I thought was really cool. It's funded by cannabis taxes and involves partnership with nonprofits and they use Indian, that's how they determine Native American tribes. But I thought that was pretty cool because it's like, I know a lot of Biden's views are probably still reefer madness, but the fact that he's like, hey, let's see what this can do for medical purposes. Because I remember back when the election was going on and you were getting the voting results right after everything came in. There were states that were voting on small bills that were going through the House.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
A lot of the psychedelics, you started seeing pop-ups for shrooms are legal here, shrooms are legal over here. We legalize medical marijuana.
Legalize
LSD or ayahuasca, and it was pretty cool.
The most mind-expanding drug out there.
Ayahuasca
education. Fuck! For those of you who don't know what we just quoted, that is a bit from the College Humor created show, What the Fuck 101.
Which I feel like should have more episodes.
Really should.
I was so upset when it ended.
Well, yeah, that was a quote from that show. It's our favorite bit from the show, to be honest. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I just thought this was really cool. And it goes on a little bit more to explain, that, there was a couple other things that were going on with it. The White House Office of National Drug Control Policy is acting in Congress to permanently control fentanyl-related drugs and Schedule Ones. And just, I thought it was neat, because it was like, hey, let's bring this down a schedule so that way we can study it.
Yeah. I mean, that is really cool. And the thing is with the growing stuff of it is I can't remember what nutrients cannabis actually creates when it goes back into the ground, but it is very, very rich in those nutrients, and it's not in a lot of different plants, if I remember correctly. So it would be really cool to bring that back into places that have been infected with that what's that bug species that's invasive that's been going on? The lantern bug?
Yeah, the
spotted
lantern
bug.
The spotted lantern fly. That's what they are. Yeah, those guys.
Because they're destroying a lot of the trees is the big thing in places that have been infected with cedar apple?
Yeah.
Because I know that hit the trees around my parents real bad last year.
And then, the emerald ash borers that bore into the ash trees and kill them.
Yeah.
Those guys come back every so often, too, and, you're told, hey, don't bring wood. Whenever we tried to go, when we went camping, we were going to bring wood, and they were like, no, don't do that, because of these invasive species are killing the trees.
But it'll also bring a lot of nutrients back into the farmlands, too.
Oh, yeah, or places, that have been hit with, forest fires.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the forest fires naturally put a lot of nutrients back in the ground.
Yeah.
Do you think the Amish will be able to use, to grow cannabis?
That'd be cool.
Do you even think they will? Or would want to?
I feel like...
Because I know they grow their own tobacco.
I don't feel like the question is would they want to. I feel like the better question is do they already?
I don't think
is
so.
it part... Is it I don't know how the religion works in that aspect.
I don't know either.
Because I know tobacco is, okay. But I don't know if they want to.
The reason why they can grow their own tobacco is because of the religious exemption with the ATF. Is it the ATF? Controls firearms, alcohol, and tobacco. I think it is because in the B movie they added honey to it, so it became the ATFH. But basically, is they don't. The machinery processing and the chemicals they throw in and everything taints the leaves, so that's usually why they grow their own. I don't think they could sell it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sell, making your own alcohol unless you actually have a license to create alcohol in mass quantities. So I don't know, but if they do, that'd be really cool.
But yeah, I just thought this was neat. That like Biden was like, "Hey, let's bring it down to Skittles for the study." Do you wanna go ahead? Sorry, your second article.
Yeah. It actually deals with the federal government. This one, I can't remember. I didn't write down where I got this article from. But basically, bill to repeal marijuana prohibition passes critical House committee. This is on the 30th of September. For the second time in U.S. history, a bill has passed the House Judiciary Committee to end the ban of prohibition. Oh, it was normal. NORML, which is it's kind of like, I guess GLAD, or Lambda Legal, or Lambda Legal. Basically, it's a cannabis lawyer group, lobby group. Politics way above my pay grade and brain. But basically, they try getting laws passed that are pro cannabis, like Random Legal tries doing with pro LGBT issues.
Yeah.
It was approved 26 to 15. And here's the thing that really got me. 24 of them were Democrats. 2 were Republican that voted yes.
All right.
And I'm wondering, because they don't go into a whole lot of details about the committee or anything about that. And I'm wondering, did those 2 actually see it as a beneficial? Or did they see the dollar signs?
Yeah.
Which, I don't care if they see dollar signs.
I don't care. They voted yes on it.
And, the thing is, part of me does, because, I don't want corporation. It's the counterculture being bought out and sold by big corporations.
Yeah.
As much as I love it, Hot Topic and Spencer's is a prime example of the alternative community being packaged, bought, and sold to the masses.
Uh-huh.
So, it's in a lot of other stuff too, but counterculture is being basically fitted for the home family.
So basically, how also in the same vein to bring the LGBT stuff into it, every June, companies who don't give a shit about the LGBT community rainbow wash, make so much money off of the LGBT community. Now, don't get me wrong, we're important enough now at this point to make money off of.
Yeah.
But it's still irritating, because what are you doing for the other 11 months out of the year?
Bethesda and Disney has, in all the countries that are okay with it, have their pride colors on the thing, but you go Russia, or, your Middle East account, because I think they just have one for the entire Middle East.
Yeah.
Not by, Turkey or Israel or anything like that. It's just the regular logo. It's not bright colored. And that speaks volumes.
It really does, because it's hey, we're going to be proud, we're going to be an ally where it's legal.
And Target
we don't want to get in trouble.
Target just has the one Target account, I think.
Target just says, fuck you, we don't care what you think.
Yeah.
We love our gay and, transgender and LGBT community.
They threatened to pull out of North Carolina, all their businesses out of North Carolina when they were trying to pass that anti-trans bathroom bill.
And that is a whole different level of allyship. Exactly.
They're one of the few I can think of that are corporate, that are true allies. They do shit all year round. But, there was only 15 Republican members of this committee that actually said no. So that's a good step in the right direction.
How old are you?
So usually when people say they're high, they're on cloud 9, right?
Yeah.
I'm on cloud 12.
I was going to make a joke about your height.
Oh yeah, I'm 6'1".
Disappointed. Too late now. But yeah, was there anything else you want to say about your article? If not, I found a good segue point.
No, that's all I had on that.
Okay, so you were talking about how, corporations and stuff like that. We were talking about rainbow washing briefly.
Yeah.
And, kind of feeds into my next article about, just, it's kind of just a feel-good thing I found today, and I thought I wanted to talk about it,
Okay.
So there's this website I found called Restaurant Dive. Basically talks about, what's going on in the restaurant community, business ownership, for instance, stuff going out to different restaurants, and probably they did updates on the COVID thing as well. But it was a briefing from the 27th of September that said Grubhub to give $2 million in grants to LGBT restaurant owners. Woo! And Grubhub and the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce will provide grants ranging from $5,000 to $100,000 to restaurants with LGBT operators through the fall, according to a press release. Applications must be submitted by the 12th of October, and they said that 30% of the grants will be given to restaurants owned by people of color, transgender, and gender non-conforming people. And apparently this is a partnership in a string of a lot of grant and loan programs created by these third-party delivery partners to give, support to these struggling restaurants, especially because of COVID, and there's no federal aid available for them.
Yeah, good on you, Grubhub.
Good
honestly.
for you guys. I used to work for you guys. You were super chill when I was like, yo, listen, I had to use my legal name to sign up. Is there any way I can change the name my customers see? And they're like, oh yeah, what do you want it to be? Just let us know. Well, you can do it right now. Like, while I'm on the phone with you. I'm like, I don't need any paperwork. No, just tell us what you want us to call you. And I told them, like, hey, my name's Alex. And they're like, all right, Alex, go clock in for your shift. You're good to go. And I'm just, they're super chill.
That's
like,
good.
working for them as an employee, the only reason I quit is because the money wasn't super great, and my car was biting the dust.
Yeah, your transmission was about to go.
And,
I mean, I think you could do it really well in the new car.
Oh, yeah. But they took care of their employees, especially during COVID, because that's when I started, because I, left my job because of COVID-related stress and bull crap.
And you got 2 free masks.
2 free masks, hand sanitizer. They gave me my bags. They gave me, everything to set me up for success to be in that job. And they were super responsive for, their driver helpline. Mm-hmm. I never waited longer than 3 minutes. If I had an issue with an order, I could call them and be like, yo, what's going on with this? Or, hey, this is way too far out of my range. I can't actually take this. I didn't realize how far it was until, I picked the order up or said I was going to get the order. They're super great to their drivers. They're also super great with their customer service. Unlike DoorDash, I have problems with them.
I've had problems with them who work in a restaurant now
that deliver through them. Oh my god!
Yeah, we only have DoorDash and our websites where people can pick up their stuff, but we only have DoorDash for third-party delivery services. We don't have Uber. We don't have Grubhub. We don't have what's the one that the Subway and our Walmart uses?
Postmates.
Yeah, we don't have them either. So, yeah, that all sucks.
Can I say something? And this is just an observation. This is no way me speaking as a former employee for Grubhub or anything, blackmailing DoorDash. Working from a restaurant perspective, can I just tell you that there's only one DoorDash driver that I like because I used to work with him. That's Matt.
Yeah.
And DoorDash's drivers are dickheads. They come up to my counter and they shove their phone in my face.
Well, I've had a couple of
and then they expect me to read their screen and get their order. They don't make eye contact with me. They don't speak a word to me the entire trip. Their entire thing in my store is just point at phone.
Well, what we have to set up DoorDash basically as they're dumber than a box of rocks. We have signage saying, hey, if there's a sticker on this, we have something that needs to be left cold that can't be sitting in the warmer behind the counter. Come up and grab it. Or we'll put, bag 1 of 2 or bag 1 of 3. And they'll just grab the first bag and leave.
And as a dasher, oh, not dasher, I was a hubber,
as someone who works for Grubhub.
As someone who works for Grubhub, because DoorDash has dashers. I don't know what we call ourselves. We're just couriers. As a courier for DoorDash, Grubhub, God fuck.
How high are you?
5'5". Last I checked. No, but as a driver, okay, I saw the other drivers. I saw the Uber Eats people. I saw the DoorDash people. the Grubhub people would make conversation with me. Like, I worked with them. They saw my bag, saw each other's bag, like, they talked to me, whatever. They were courteous. The Uber Eats people would talk to me, too. Like, they were pretty chill. But those DoorDash people would not, they don't look at me. They were just like, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not here to talk to you or even look at you. I don't know. That's just an observation I've had, both from working with alongside them, not with them, but alongside them, as a restaurant and as a competitor for a delivery service. And just let me know what kind of bugs up your butt, DoorDash.
Well, also, we have to put a little asterisk here. This is just the ones in our area.
Yeah, obviously. This is the ones in the State College area that I'm talking about.
We cannot speak for all these companies around, you know. There could be, like, down in, like, Milwaukee, like, it's the flip, you know?
Yeah, that the Grubhub people are assholes and the DoorDash people are the nice ones. This is just what I've observed.
We don't speak for any of these companies.
No, not at all. We're just, customers and people who work alongside them.
Is there any more to your article?
I mean, this cool little factoid. I just misused that. Factoid is, I misused that word. Factoid is actually, fun fact. Factoid does not mean a small fact. It means a thing that people think is fact that's actually false. So this would not be a factoid. But anyway, cool little fact in this article. The organization estimates that there are about 1.4 million LGBTQ-owned businesses in the United States. But it didn't estimate how many of those businesses are restaurants, but that's still pretty cool.
That is cool. I'm wondering if that new Venezuelan cafe that opened up that we've been dying to try.
Yeah, with their equality sign in the window,
and their everyone welcome poster in the door. Like, yeah. I'm wondering if they're LGBT. I'm wondering if they're either an ally
or they're LGBT
or in the community. Yeah.
Because that'd be so cool that they're the first place I thought of, too. Like, that's neat.
We should really try that soon.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to bring up, we've been playing Life is Strange, True Colors.
God, that game.
So, for those of you who don't know, this game is set in a small little town called Haven in the great state of Colorado, which you've been to in person.
Yes, I have been. I want to go back.
There is a prominent store location, a very prominent storefront in this game I wanted to talk about because it is the first time I've ever seen one in a video game that wasn't kind of jokey via Saints Row or Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
A weed dispensary called the Silver Dragon, which actually it looks like a legit storefront, like a legit dispensary operation.
It was so neat. Like, this game has so many firsts that I have seen in a video game. Not only, like, the dispensary, but, like, can we talk about how there aren't many video games about foster kids?
Yeah.
And, like, as a foster kid, like, this game, like, it touched my heart, and, like, it had a trigger warning, and I should have read it beforehand, but I didn't, but that's beside the point. I knew what I was getting into because I watched all the videos. I worked in the video game industry. I hear this crap on loop all the time, and I wanted to buy it. And it's spot on. It hits so close to home that it's like, is this about me? Like,
yeah, I remember
her story and mine are super similar.
You come when I've kind of been just dozing off, and you're like, and you're having like a hard time. You're having a rough time with it, and I'm like, did you smoke? Did you use your cannabis? Like, did you use anything? No. Go do that.
I will cuddle you, but then go do that.
And then come back and cuddle me some more while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. But, like,
because I love cuddling you.
I want to be able to, like, this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently, is I want to be able to consume this media that's hard for people. Like, that it isn't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to check out, because I've been there, and I want to see if, like, representation is done well, if it's done at all. Like, if it's just your stereotypical representation, or if there's something more under the surface. And they did a beautiful job creating this character.
Life is Strange as a series, as someone who played the first game, and it was in episodic form and broken up into different games. I got the full package when I played it. is really, really good with its representation of this stuff.
Square Enix, I love you, but fuck you make me cry with your games.
Well, see, this is one thing I'm wondering, because I didn't look up what branch of Square Enix is it, because I'm wondering if it's like, Ubisoft Montreal works on like certain video games, and then Ubisoft France works on certain games, and Ubisoft America works on certain games where they work in teams between the three or whatever. I'm wondering if they did that with this game, and it was like Square Enix's American office, because Japan has a very, very strict no drug law, and cannabis is very hard as well over there.
So would it be to the point where they'd censor their media about it?
I don't know.
Is that what you're leading up to? Is that like either they're going to have a different release, or they're going to have like it's not going to get released there, or like...
I don't know if they're going to censor it, but like it's very surprising that they put it in the game.
Yeah.
Considering if it is a Japanese team that worked on it, other than trying to get accuracy, because of the fact that of how strong the anti-cannabis laws are in Japan. Your first offense just gives you 5 years in jail automatically, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Good grief.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, when we were talking about moving to other countries, and I said no on Japan, because as much as I would love to live there, we need this.
Yeah. Also, what we've seen is like, I can't remember what they call us. The tattooed folks over there.
Oh, they would treat us like the Yakuza?
Yeah.
Which is the Japanese mafia, because they're the ones that really have the tattoos nowadays. It's starting to get better there. They do have spas that do tailor to people with tattoos, and mostly because of people like us that would be visiting. I just want to talk about the weed representation.
That was so cool.
Also, it's a really good LGBT representation, but that's been the whole series from my understanding. I didn't play the second one.
Oh my god, Steph. If it's possible, no spoilers. If anybody has some sort of discussion thread going on about this, if you talk about this, put a spoiler warning, because I'm not done with the game, and neither is Rayven. But if you can romance Steph as Alex, oh my goodness. I've seen fan art on Reddit, and it's adorable.
Well, I mean, I've seen fan art of Max, the person you play in the first game, of characters who you can't even romance at all in the first game, and I'm like, but I can see why. Some of them I'm like, okay, friends, enemies, the friends, the lovers arc. I can see that.
There's stuff like that with Stardew though too. Like,
true.
You can't romance this character, so we're gonna make fan art about it. What if you could? There are mods that unlock those characters as like romanceable. But like, I love this game.
I know.
This makes me want to play all the other ones, but it can be difficult. That first part was difficult because I made a decision that made Alex talk about her past. And fuck, Square Enix, you just took a page right out of my life there, didn't you? Like, damn.
But like, it's got good representation.
And it's in a beautiful, beautiful game, and like, it's so great with literally everything.
And we're currently playing on the PS5. I haven't seen what it looks like on the Xbox.
Malik, if you're listening to this, play Life is Strange and let us know, and we can talk about it. We can do a joint podcast discussion about Life is Strange. That'd be cool.
Oh, speaking of Malik, I wanted to bring up our Skittles.
Our Skittles. I don't have a Skittle this week. I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't pick one?
I didn't pick a Skittle this week. No.
Oh, okay. Well,
you do your Skittles.
It's Malik. It's actually Malik? My Skittle this week is Malik.
Aww.
He's a friend of mine that I got introduced through you.
Yeah, we went to college together and then didn't talk for a while, and then it's just like, hey, what's up? We haven't talked. Let's talk.
Now, I don't know if he has an Instagram, so I'm just going to plug his podcast. It's a podcast.
It's a podcast. Yeah, I've been listening, and I got sidetracked with some other podcasts. But like, those guys are great.
I'm on my third re-listen of the entire series. All 21 episodes. You can find them on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Amazon, Facebook. They have a Facebook page. Just look up HA'. It's a podcast.
You mean comma?
No.
It's an apostrophe?
Yeah, there's just an apostrophe.
Interesting. I never looked that close. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway.
I know what I'm talking about. Because it's a reference, they explained in the show, it's a reference to a line in one of the Gears of War games.
Okay.
Where a character goes, "Oh, it's..." I can't remember what the other word was. It was something just to the Gears of War game universe. And so they kind of made fun of that, and it was like, it's a podcast.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, but Malik and Tyler are really cool on it. They're, nerds. They just talk about nerdy shit.
We love you guys. We'd love to do a collab. That'd be cool. You could drop in on your podcast and talk about stuff, or you could drop in on our podcast and talk about stuff, or both. Whatever. That'd just be cool.
But yeah, you can find them. They have a Twitter. I don't know what their Twitter name is. Just look up It's a Podcast on Google. And
it'll come up.
It'll bring up to everything they're linked to. Their Facebook, all their sources to listen to it. I literally tested it today, so...
Their dark web page where you can talk about Tyler's GoFundMe. Or what? No, it was an OnlyFans.
Yeah, Tyler's OnlyFans.
The dark web page that links you into the back door of Tyler's OnlyFans.
Oh, God. Anyway, so there was two other things I wanted to talk about if there's it. But before we get to that, are there anything else you wanted to talk about? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Not are there.
Words?
I'm going to hit my vape again now.
Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? No, I don't think so. I covered what I wanted to cover. You covered what you wanted to cover. What are we at time-wise?
50.
Alright.
Roughly. There's two things I wanted to kind of quickly discuss, or kind of bring up. First one, a lot of people have been talking to me about it, but I didn't want to Google it because I figured it would be a good learning experience for some of our newer users in our listening pool, our audience. What's a gravity bong?
Oh my God, you don't know.
I don't know what a gravity bong is.
Some of us had humble beginnings. Alright, so this kind of attaches to that story how I told you.
You were there.
I was there for it.
I mean, most of it. I mean, because the only other way is I smoked out of a glass pipe. That's the only other way.
Listen, some of us had humble beginnings and didn't have that whole...
Oh, I'm sorry. Was my beginning bougie?
A little bit, yeah. In the weed community, yes. Have you never smoked out of an apple either?
No.
Or a soda can?
No.
No. None of your friends did that either?
My stepsister did.
Alright, so a grab bomb. That's usually what they're called. They're called a grab bomb. It links up with that story I was talking to you about how I got offered K2. They were smoking out of a grab bomb. So basically what you do is you get a bigger container, right? And you fill it with water.
Okay.
Like, kind of wide on the brim. And usually people use, like, I've seen it done mostly with 5-gallon buckets and 2-liter bottles.
Okay, so basically our recycling buckets.
Okay, so yeah, take one of our 5-gallon buckets, fill that like halfway with water, or like 3/4 of the way with water, right?
Okay.
Take a 2-liter bottle, and you cut those little like ridges off of the bottom of the bottle. You're going to take the cap, you're going to screw a hole in it, and you're going to get some sort of something to act like a bowl. So like you can buy a metal piece, or use like nuts, like a nut with like a metal piping on the bottom of it. That you welded together or screwed together or something. Sounds really intuitive. Like, ingenuity is prolific. Anyway, so you take that and you put it on the cap, right? And
no, I do take notes every episode of stuff I want to talk about next episode. Yeah.
But, let me continue. So, you take that cap and you have that bowl kind of thing attached to the top of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you screw that on, and so you start with the... Okay, you start with the bottle, like the 2-liter bottle, almost completely submerged in the water, so there's only maybe like an inch or so at the top and inside, right? Mm-hmm. You light the top of where your bowl's at, and then you'll pull up slowly on the top container that has your whatever's lit. It'll pull the smoke down, into that container as the water goes out the bottom. And then you unscrew your cap, and this is the hard part. Don't burn yourself with the bowl, because you're going to unscrew the cap, and you're going to hit it, and while you're pulling in, you're going to simultaneously push down, so that water's pushing that smoke back up.
That just feels like it's gonna feel, everything,
Yeah, everything's going to fucking hurt.
Ow.
And you're going to cough a lot.
Why?
Because what are you supposed to do if you have nothing else to smoke from? It's fun. That water cools down the smoke. But like I've seen so many people almost cough their fucking lungs out doing that. But yeah, that is what a grav bong is, because it uses gravity, the gravitational pull of the water coming out, that suction, to suck the smoke down and then to push it back up into your mouth.
So is that little hourglass rotating thing that Seth Rogen has?
That's a very fancy, very, very, very fancy.
Would that still be called a gravity bong?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just really fucking fancy.
It's really bougie.
It's very bougie. I'm talking humble beginnings with a 5-gallon bucket and a 2-liter bottle. And Seth Rogen's like, no, let me where my grav bong is. That's really fancy.
Okay, so my second thing, I originally had a different second thing, but I think it's going to be a longer topic, so I'm going to save that till next episode.
Okay.
But another thing I did want to talk about is, I thought at work today, a really good reason and a really cool way to bring the South, especially the Bible Belt South, into using cannabis.
Okay, I'm here.
Barbecue.
Oh?
Think about it. Every time I've smoked weed and eaten something, the flavor usually gets heightened up tenfold for some reason. Especially with spicy food, because it gets hotter. You know me. I'm just like you. I can eat a lot of hot, spicy stuff. I don't typically because it hurts my stomach and I will get really, really bad heartburn. So to avoid the pain in my gut, I don't eat a whole lot of spicy food, but I can handle the heat in my mouth, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Southerners like that. They can handle the heat and nothing spicy enough. I know they smoke weed to increase the spice, but also the flavor of the brisket. Can you imagine a brisket that's been smoked cooked over hickory wood overnight? It's juicy, falling apart with a fork.
You reminded me of that episode of Bong Appetit, where they actually did a brisket, a barbecue. Oh, fuck.
But not weed infusing that one, but just tasting that juicy brisket being cut with a spoon.
Yeah.
Now, then imagine you infuse it with cannabis. Dude, that'd be great. And then, the funny thing is, there was one episode of Bong Appetit from Vice that was which also, screw Vice, is that, is it Abraham? Zaid? The guy who was hosting? He only hosts the first 2 seasons and he leaves after the third. Because of some issues with some sexual assault or harassment or something within Vice. So he's like, I'm not standing for that. I'm like, cool, good on you.
Yeah.
He has a podcast called Great Moments in Weed History or something, which also brings up to another point of how to get the Bible Belt of the United States to be on board with cannabis, because they use a religion even though it says nowhere that cannabis is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. You know where the best areas of the world that are able to grow cannabis? So it's originally from certain parts of Asia, right?
Yeah. So
India is a big one because that's where it was originally founded. I've been told.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the sativas from.
Yeah.
The Middle East. Before the Second World War, the Middle East actually didn't really have a whole lot of laws. That before we put prohibition out, during the Wild West, Louisiana Purchase and the westward expansion and everything.
Yeah.
They would call it the it's where we get the name hash from, because it was called hashish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they would use it in a lot of medicine.
Yeah.
In the West. South America, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously California, because California in our section, just because it's constant and the amount of sun and everything, it's really, really good to grow it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but mostly South America, the Middle East, and India. Or southern Asia, right?
Yeah.
Now again, I'm not an expert on any of this. I am totally talking on what people have told me, things I've heard in other podcasts, and speaking directly out of my butt. This has been your warning. But basically, there was an episode where they were talking. I have to listen to the episode still, but somebody was referencing the episode, and they were talking about how basically some of the medicine that Jesus could have used to help people who were sick, that could have helped heal people, could have been cannabis. And apparently, there's a lot of historical references and everything that some historians believed cannabis was very much part of Jesus' wheelhouse to help people.
Jesus smoked weed. Cannabis Jesus, it's canon. Also, I like to point out when people get in this religious argument with me about it, it's not God's will, it's a drug, whatever. I was like, didn't God say that He put everything on this earth for your consumption? Like, to aid you?
Yeah.
This is put on this earth to be of aid to you.
And if it's not, why do we have an endocannabinoid system?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it's a plant that grows naturally in the ground.
But so's the cocaine plant. That's where I get
that's
confused.
More processed.
Is it though? Is that how it becomes?
I believe yes. I believe cocaine it goes through some sort of process.
Okay, because I don't want to look it up to know. Because I don't want to be put on
a list.
Yeah, like the DEA. Like, okay, this girl's kind of sus.
I don't think you can find it. That's dark web shit. You have to go look.
But like, see, that's the thing that always got me because like, is it the coca? Is that what the plant is actually called? The coca plant.
Yeah.
And like, so how's it go there to cocaine and like, because that I don't know. It worries me because then like I want people using marijuana like. To say that is illegal, so why legalize marijuana?
I believe it's the same process. It might be shorter than like making meth out of Sudafed.
So basically, you just gotta add a lot.
You have to add something to get that extra molecule there. Because I remember it was hilarious. That's why I knew why you had to get Sudafed behind the counter is because of my chemistry professor. In my junior year of college, he was like, so, this, and he clicks to a slide, is the chemical compound for meth. Click. This is the chemical compound for Sudafed. It's only one molecule off, and I was like, oh shit. He's like, I'm not going to say how, and he turned the PowerPoint off, he's like, I'm not going to say how. But that is, you can make meth from Sudafed. Yeah, just add something, and that's all I'm going to say. Now, here's your homework for the weekend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really bad idea to tell that to a bunch of college students.
Well, yeah, but he also knew that if we went to try and look it up, we'd either be put on a list or get escorted off, campus.
True.
So he wasn't too concerned about us doing any more digging.
But I realized I made a half statement before I went on that rant about Vice.
Yeah.
So another thing on one episode of Bong Appetit is they deep fried the weed leaf. And not the flower part, the one that, everyone makes, like, the cartoon symbols of, or, like, has on the printed clothing, like the pot leaf itself. They deep fried it. And what is more southern than going to a county fair and deep frying crap?
Okay, what's more southern than just being in the South and deep frying everything? And looking for Alaska.
But you gotta go to the county fair because the county fair is the only one where they mix everything in the oil.
Yeah.
And I tried my darnest not to say Earl.
Earl.
But literally, like, they don't change it. They don't have specific ones. It's literally just one pot and they just deep fry it all. So you got, like, the Oreos and the chicken and, the mozzarella and you got everything in there. And it's just...
Well, the point I'm trying to make here is when I was reading Looking for Alaska, when Miles moved to his boarding school, they deep fry everything. It's a South thing. They just deep fry it. There's nothing that cannot be improved by deep frying it.
I mean,
deep fried ice cream is good.
Isn't, yeah, it is. Isn't most of the deep frying turkey issues over the holidays, isn't that primarily, like, a Southern majority-led issue?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I
They
feel
try
like...
to deep fry fucking frozen turkeys, and it ends up catching fire and exploding the garage.
Is it because of the water?
Yeah, okay. So we both work in food service.
Yeah.
You know, you're never supposed to put ice or anything in the fryer.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
It does it... I don't know the science behind it now.
So basically, and the only reason I know this is because I think my bio dad talked to me about it at one point. It's some usual shit that he knows that he decided to pass on to me. That at one point, like when that cold object, whatever it is, goes in there, it's lowering the temperature of that oil to the point where it's going underneath the flash point. Because when you deep fry something, it's just underneath that flash point. The flash point is the temperature at which whatever you're using is going to catch on fire.
I know Flashpoint.
So it was also for people listening, in case they didn't know too.
Sorry,
for everyone involved.
I forgot
so we're on
we
the
were
same
recording.
page.
I forgot we were recording for a second.
Oh, that's good though. That's how you know things are going well.
Or that I'm really stoned. So I'm going to take another hit.
But to the point of what I was going back to is like it keeps it just underneath that flash point. Whenever you throw that ratio off, it's not just straight oil anymore. It also has water in it, so that water burns off and evaporates. It skyrockets the temperature because for that brief moment, it's not just oil you're heating; it's oil and something.
With the water,
it increases the temperature. It hits that flash point and catches on fire, and now you have a huge grease fire on your hands. Oof. So that is what happens when those people are deep frying those deep frozen turkeys.
It's way too much.
It's way too much of a difference in temperature. So you're supposed to, number one, read the damn instruction kit that comes with it, because my foster parent had one that he got for Christmas or whatever. And it comes with an instruction booklet of how to not catch your garage on fire, basically. And they say thaw the turkey first. Leave it at room temperature for at least 15 minutes to like 10-15 minutes before you go to fry it. That way there's the least amount of temperature difference, so you don't get that shock and it comes up and shoots up in temperature and then catches on fire. But nobody listens. And they're usually drinking beer while they're doing it and watching the game, so.
Oh, I will say, I did also learn something recently.
Yeah?
So you know how once the holiday season starts coming around and we know it's around the corner, because Halloween is at the end of the month.
And I already requested for Black Friday to be in my retail shop.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be working at the gamer store.
Oh my god.
So something I learned recently. So instead of just having Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it is now Green Wednesday, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Isn't there like Brown Thursday? It's like
that's Thanksgiving
night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Do you know what Green Wednesday is? It is the day where everyone goes to the dispensaries and stocks up
for the holidays?
For Thanksgiving.
Oh my god, I didn't know that was a thing.
It's mostly in, like, California and, like, the West Coast legal states from what I know, because, like, I don't remember seeing it, but I am actually going to our dispensary on that day because I want to make edibles for me, you, and Mom, so, we can enjoy the holiday. But also, I just kind of need it because holiday anxiety, because, like, I don't know why, but I still get a lot of anxiety during the holiday seasons.
I know why, and I do.
Yeah.
Long story. Anyway, also part of the reason why I lost my shit with Life is Strange. Anyway, the real question is, they're going to have sales like they do on Black Friday for Green Thursday?
Some dispensaries
did. Green Thursday or Green Wednesday?
Green Wednesday.
Green Wednesday.
Some did in certain states. California did before, I think they went Prop 64, sorry. Prop 65 is the can cause cancer warning everywhere in California.
Yeah. Literally everything now. Prop 65, right there. Prop 65 warning. I have a box for vape juice sitting right here on the table where we're recording. Prop 65 warning for California.
Which side was it on?
It was on the side with all the wording. No, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. Near the bottom. Red letters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's on every bottle of vape juice ever. It's on every package of cigarettes.
But, yeah, so, like, Green Wednesday.
That's cool.
But I think this is a pretty good spot to end on.
Do we want to plug all of our stuff before we end the episode like we usually do?
Yeah, you can catch us on I was probably just going to do the podcast one. Because our podcast on Instagram, I'm going to make it to link our Twitter and because I haven't made it yet, but I'm making a Twitter for this.
Make a link tree and put it in the description of the podcast.
That makes a lot more effort. Because then I gotta make a new link tree and set it up with that email, or I can just copy paste and like put in the. Because like you can just literally say Twitter and click it, and Twitter will be the highlighted blue thing, and it'll go straight to it.
Yeah, it'll make a link.
Yeah. Basically, you can follow our podcast on Smoking Out the Closet on Instagram. I am trying to update it more often. I will be taking pictures of our stuff we were smoking and including making a meme with my Moxie case of and let me open it. Old reliable. Again, my name's Rayven.
I'm Alex.
And we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for chilling with us.
Bye.